Although I did watch The Woman King and I loved it, and it was inspiring, and I knew it was about the homie. I knew about the homie before I watched The Lion King. I do research African history. I still liked it and I was still inspired by it. However, I will not be watching Wakanda Forever. And I'm going to tell you why. And then I'm going to tell you why I watched The Woman King, most probably. But the reason why I won't watch Wakanda Forever is because when I watched the first Black Panther, I was really upset. The first time I watched it, I had a lot of questions. And then the second time I watched it, I had even more questions. Um, it starts off with there being an African nation who has the most powerful weapon in the world. And they allow for all of Africa to follow colonialism. All of Africa. They do nothing. And then the king of that country and his father and his father's father and his father's father, however that's gone, whether it be just through, or whoever the king was, I guess that they fight each time to make sure or to test who the king is. Um, they did nothing. And the only thing they did do in Africa, they did show us one mission that the woman was on, the spy, Lupita Nyong'o. And even that mission was against Africans. I mean, all the stuff that goes on with the colonialism and with Europeans and with China and with the French in Africa. And the one mission we see them go on is to hurt, take down other Africans who were kidnapping African women. So I didn't like that. Then you move on through the movie and we find out that that king of that country kills his own brother. And the brother that he kills is a revolutionary in America. So all the stuff we go through here in America, you have a revolutionary here from Africa. And he gets killed by his own brother, who is the king of the most powerful nation in Africa, who has the most powerful weapon in the world. And then he leaves his son. So, okay, it's bad enough that you kill your own brother for reasons that, you know, were enough awful because your brother had to, even to get those weapons, he would send someone in to get them. And I think that they tried to sway us and make us think that that murder wasn't so bad because the brother sent a white man into the continent to steal the vibranium. But that kind of bugs me too. Why would he send a white man into that continent to steal the vibranium? If he's black, he's got black people around him, he's into a black revolution. But you send a white man into the continent, into your homeland to kill people and get the weapon? That doesn't make any sense. And you can pass right through the gates anytime you want to. So after he leaves his brother's kid, he takes this person who was a spy, spying on his brother and betraying his brother with him back to Africa. When he does kills his brother's son, that spy doesn't say anything. He doesn't speak up and go, why would we leave this kid? I mean, are you telling me that the man who was next to your brother spying on him watched you kill him and leave his kid, said nothing, and allowed you to do that? Didn't go back to get the kid, didn't go back to check to see how the kid was doing, any of that? Is now the like second person that's like your right hand man. He's not trustworthy. He's ridiculous. So, and this is the person that you have kept on your side all of this time. Simply, because he knows that you did that to your brother. It doesn't sound like that's an African thing to do. It actually sounds like another race, but I'm going to go into that later. So then, okay, that child then grows up, joins the military, and becomes a revolutionary, so to speak, by all the murders he's done. So now he's called Killmonger because he's killed all of these people and he has a mark for every murder. Okay, so that now is what they substitute to us for a black revolutionary. Instead of having his brother, who's a prince in Africa, now we have this person who has killed so many people and made all the marks of the deaths on his body, and he's supposed to be now our revolutionary. So then they screw they shit all over that. That revolutionary has a black lady with him, um, kills her, no issues. I mean, she helps him to go into the museum. She seems to be somebody who helps him in a lot of his operations. She's like his right hand person. And then he gets into a bind, shoots her with no problem. So, basically kills off the black woman without issue. Um, Even though she stood by his side, even though she was the one who helped him do his missions, all of that. And then appears to be his lover. But that is not important. Okay, so once he does, they gave us one little scene in the museum where he takes back one hammer. Okay? And, he goes, no, we must steal this from you. And so we all love that because we all want them to give back the black people their stuff and all these other museums and these white people's, all these other white people's museums. And I should say oppressors. I don't usually say white people. I usually say oppressors because I usually refer to white people specifically who oppress. Um, so they did give us that. And then he turns around and kills the black lady after he does that. Okay, then he gets to Africa because he gets in somehow. Um, there's an issue because that one black guy really wanted his parent to be revenged, his father to be revenged. He's mad at, he sounds right because he's angry. And he's mad at T'Challa at this point because T'Challa goes on a mission and doesn't kill the guy who kills his father. Yet, and they save the white man on the mission. And okay, so we go along with it. They do save the white agent. And they happen to take him back to Africa. Well, they take him to the laboratory and they save him. And then we find out in the movie they save Bucky. So Bucky kills T'Challa's father. And then this is a white, probably CIA agent. Not to shit on the CIA or the FBI too much, but we all know they done killed Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and they killed Black Panthers. And now they're the only ones that get saved in the movie. Because for some reason, when we get to the end, I don't understand how he couldn't save his own cousin. You can save the FBI agent, you can save Bucky, but you can't save your own cousin. I mean, they even tried to save. In that next movie, what is his name? Whatever the machine guy is in the Avengers movie, I don't care. They even try to save him, but nobody tries to save Killmonger, even though Killmonger is family. So I didn't understand that either. Okay, so then I'm rooting the whole movie for Killmonger to win because his mission is to get those weapons in the hands of revolutionaries. So I'm like, yes, I'm all for it. Get those weapons in the hands of revolutionaries. But then the movie acts as if, okay, those people who are being oppressed should not get the weapons. You know what I mean? So what does that mean? What does that mean when you're so afraid that oppressed people will get their hands on weapons that could help them? So we spend a whole movie watching this king of this African country who does nothing about Africa falling to colonialism, who actually has the most powerful weapon in the world, try to defeat his own first cousin, who is a revolutionary and who is trying to get weapons, very powerful weapons, in the hands of revolutionaries so he can free everyone. And then we watch this person kill their cousin. They go through this epic battle. First his cousin kills him because instead of him just defeating him in battle, he throws him off the cliff. Now, for some reason, T'Challa doesn't do that to the guy in the mountains. Um, and I love his character too. I love that king's character in the mountains. I'm gonna look it up. Wakanda. I mean, M'Baku. Yes. Okay. So, ooh, I was in love with M'Baku. Ooh, he was all that to me. I thought he would be such a better king than T'Challa. Not this. I love Chadwick Boseman. I do like Chadwick Boseman. I do like him. He did a few movies that I really love to see him in. And so this is nothing against him or anything, but ooh, that character that he played, T'Challa, was not a good king to me. I really didn't like that, and I really liked M'Baku, and I really thought M'Baku would be such a better king. And he lose. Okay, so he doesn't kill M'Baku, and then M'Baku is the revolutionary. He is the one who's outspoken, and in the end, he comes out against defeating revolutionaries, which doesn't make sense for his character because his character the entire time is the revolutionary character. He's the one who moves into the mountains because he doesn't like the way things are going. He doesn't like the way that they don't help the rest of Africa. He doesn't like the way they're hitting. I'm like, okay, and he's a much better. That makes sense to me. So why wouldn't he be king? And then when you look at him and T'Challa, it doesn't really seem like T'Challa would have won that fight. So, to come out at the end, we're watching him kill his own cousin to defeat him and keep him from getting powerful weapons out to other revolutionaries to overthrow oppression. And then even M'Baku, the one that I really liked seeing, even he didn't. He comes out in the end and he helps T'Challa do that, which doesn't make sense for his character. And then, okay, so Lupita Nyong'o, I don't know what kind of symbolism it is to make the person that that king really loves a spy. Somebody who probably wouldn't even be trustworthy, you know. So I don't get that. I don't get making her a spy. I don't get a whole lot of things in that movie. I really think that it was something that they wrote against black people rather than for black people. And so once I saw that, I knew, I would not be watching Wakanda Forever. So as that movie comes out now, I really am not going to see it because I think that Disney is really putting something into our minds, projecting something into our minds and into our children's minds against us. This is a time when there is a lot of racism. I mean, I don't. People keep calling it the last gasp, um, and it is strange to me that we live on this world and this is one people that are so concerned with who came first and all of that. But at the same time, I think whatever it is that they're doing right now, um, I think Disney is being used to project images against African Americans. And so this is not a movie I'm going to watch. I did love The Woman King, so I will. I'll probably go see it again. I've already seen it twice. I will probably go and see it again. They did admit in The Woman King that yes, the homie did get rich off the slave trade, and this is supposed to be probably at the end. At some point, I love the way. Um, First of all, I too love to see all those dark skinned people on screen. I did. Um, and then I loved it. I think the story was really inspiring, and it did really inspire me. It was really centered on the women in their relationships, and a lot on their battling. But I don't know. For some reason, even that movie spoke to me, um, even if the Black Panther didn't. I think it probably was because of the way the story was so honest about the homie. I mean, he did talk to the French king. He did speak French. He did admit that he had gotten rich off the slave trade and it was horrible. It wasn't really um, glorifying that. It really admitted that, I like that it could be honest. It could still show gorgeous Africans, and it could still be such a great movie with that. And so a lot of people say, well, they don't want to glorify those women because a lot of us are probably enslaved because of them, and I get that. I don't usually speak against people who say that they don't want to go see the movie because of that, because I get that too, and it did give me reservations. But I don't know, that story really spoke to me because I think it was a lot about women, and it was a lot about um, just knowing that that was a story about women who became warriors, who did not want to do the status quo and became warriors. And I love that. Um, and then I love, the scene where they tore up the barracoon. That just spoke to me. And, she said, burn it down and don't leave them nothing. That spoke to me. So that I can watch. But this whole thing with Black Panther and Wakanda Forever, I just could not watch that. I could not watch, and I can't bring myself to go watch Wakanda Forever because I don't want them to see another movie where they're, telling black people not to help other black people or not to be revolutionary. We need to be revolutionary. Um, and that movie to me is the same thing I always say, black people worshiping white people's gods. I do have many gods. I'm not a Christian. I would say I have many gods, but I know a few of my gods. And I love my gods. And I don't worship white people's gods because white people's gods tell them that it's okay for them to harm and enslave me or hurt me. And, anything you worship and sacrifice for is your God. And that will tell you what's right or what's wrong, who's good and who's bad. As you worship, worship is an action, it is not just with your mouth. And so I can't worship anything that says to anyone that I am trash or I am dispensable, especially because of the color of my skin. So I don't worship white people's gods. I think that all of this about Black Panther is definitely that. I think that Disney is racist, and I think that the films that they put out with the Black Panther is racist, and I will not be watching Wakanda Forever because that'll probably be racist too. Anyway, so I don't know. Maybe it's a hidden agenda, maybe not. I just know that that is what I don't just know, excuse me. But that's what I saw in the movie. That's my take on it. Um, I wonder if anybody else has the same take. Did you watch Black Panther and see the same things I did, or was it different to you? So if it was different to you, if you want to, you can leave me a message in the comments. I'd love to discuss it with anyone.